I'm gonna take you through a seated stretch series to either add on to any of those workouts that you're doing, or maybe you have a day where you don't really feel like doing a hard workout, but you do need a good stretch. First thing we're gonna start with is stretching those inner thighs. So we're gonna bring the soles of the feet together, and I want you to think about your sits bones. If you give yourself a little rock here, if you put your hands underneath, you'll feel those two bony points underneath you. Those are the sits bones of your pelvis, and imagine that you're perched directly on top of them. So sometimes we sit and they feel like they're slipping under, and sometimes we feel like they're slipping back. Find that nice neutral spot right in the middle. Feel those vertebrae stack all the way from the bottom of your spine up through the top of your head. Open up those chest muscles, take a nice big breath in. Then we're gonna lean ourselves forward and feel that stretch through the inner thighs. You can apply a little bit of downward gentle pressure down onto those knees, but you never want to force them down. And just breathe. When we're stretching, I want you to think of relaxing your pelvic floor. So feel those muscles lengthen and release. You can let the belly just drop here. Try not to go into any deep activations or holds. And I like to think, inhale, you're taking note of the position that you're in, and then as I exhale, I try to go a little deeper into it. Inhale, exhale, deepen. The next stretch that we're gonna get into is one or both legs extended. So you can either take both legs out if you're comfortable there, or just tuck one in. And I want you to sit so your hips are facing me, your leg is out to the side. Again, find those sits bones, ground them into the floor, lift those arms up to feel that length down or up the sides of your body. Take a nice big breath in. We're gonna exhale and we're gonna travel over towards that extended leg, trying to keep the shoulder out of your ear. So just drop that shoulder down. Feel yourself breathing into the sides of both sides of your rib cage. Holding this for as long as you need to. You're welcome to open up that arm to get more into that chest. Feel a little bit of rotation through your spine here. And then to come out of it, I'm gonna lengthen through those fingertips, make myself a little bit taller to lift up so I'm not crunching and grinding through the spine. I'm gonna turn and face my extended leg so those hips are driving forward. And from here, sits bones down, spine lengthened, and then I'm just gonna lean forward into that stretch, feel the hamstring. You can point or flex those toes from here. A flex will give you that nice stretch all the way from the heel up into the hip socket. To get out of this, breathe out, lengthen through the top of your head, lift up, and then travel over to the other side. Leg goes out, sits bones down, arms up. Feel that length on both sides of your body. Lengthen through those fingertips. You can think of that connection from this middle finger overhead down into that opposite sits bone, or sits bones on the same side. You don't want that hip to hike up. Just breathe into it. Opening up, feeling that stretch of the chest if you need it. And then to come out, I'm gonna lengthen, make my spine longer, turn and face that extended leg so my hips are facing my knee. Lift up, sits bones down, and come forward into that stretch. With either a flexed or pointed toe here. Full breaths. Releasing the belly, relaxing the pelvic floor. Lengthening out through the top of the head to come up. Heading into a figure four or a stretch for your piriformis. You're gonna take one leg out, cross the opposite leg above your knee, flex that foot. That's gonna protect this knee joint. You're welcome to stay here if this feels like a pretty intense stretch. You can also draw that heel back towards your glute as close as you need to feel that stretch down the side or upper area of that bent leg that's crossed over top. I'm gonna keep flexing through that foot. You can flex that bottom foot to go a little deeper, and then to go a little deeper yet, maybe just take a few gentle rocks in and out. Our sciatic nerve runs right through the center of that piriformis muscle. And when that muscle gets tight, it can give us some of those sciatica type symptoms that many of us experience during pregnancy, postpartum, It's a good stretch just to loosen up that muscle, convince it to let go. And then traveling over to the other side. Crossing ankle over knee, flexion, lifting up, opening the chest, the upper body, sitting into it as deeply as you need to go. And breathing, thinking nice positive thoughts, thinking about relaxing your pelvic floor. Holding here for as long as you need to. Now I'm gonna head into a pigeon pose, and you may need some props for this one. If you have some blocks, pillows, a towel that you wanna roll up, you can do that. But we're gonna get into it with just this little 4 position. I'm gonna come up on all 4s and I'm gonna extend that leg back behind me. And what I'm trying to do is parallel that front leg. And you might have to pop yourself up here and then ease your way down into the stretch. Now those props are nice underneath the butt or glute or upper thigh of that bent leg. And I don't want you to crunch into the small of your back here. I want you to feel lengthened out through the top of the head. And then if you can, come down into that stretch. This is a great stretch. Again, for sciatica type symptoms or any kind of tightness or holding tension in the pelvic floor. So just gonna breathe here for as long as you need to. Trying to get that hip over here parallel to the ground. And then I am gonna ease out of that and come on to the other side. So I'm gonna pop myself up, bring that foot forward, slide down into it, get prop them underneath that upper thigh glute as needed. Lift up, extend out the top of my spine, and then lengthen to come down into the stretch. Feel this hip here. Try to rotate it down towards the ground. Try to relax your glutes, relax your pelvic floor. One more breath in. And exhaling, coming out of that. I'm gonna take a wide second position with my legs. As wide as you're comfortable with. Sits bones, feeling them down. Head, vertebrae, lifted up, feeling that space between every one of your backbones. And then keeping the knees pointing up towards the ceiling so they're not rolling in. I'm just gonna walk myself out until I feel that stretch here through my inner thighs. And you're welcome to come as low as is available to you. Relax the pelvic floor. Focus on your breath. One more breath here.